Tribe. Ever feel like your hip is doing its best impression of a squeaky door? Hip bursitis can turn everyday movements into a comedy of errors, minus the laughs. I'm Dr. Sarah, your go-to physical therapist. I'm here to help you fix that. We're diving into the best exercises for hip bursitis that will have you saying goodbye to pain and hello to freedom. But before we get started, if you love learning how to heal and thrive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Thrive Tribe. We've got weekly wellness tips, exercises, and some laughs to keep you coming back for more. Now let's talk about your hip bursitis. So what's the deal with hip bursitis? Your hip has these tiny fluid-filled sacs called bursa, which act like cushions between bones, tendons, and muscles. When these get inflamed, boom, hip bursitis strikes. But here's the kicker. Inflammation here is often caused by weak muscles around the hip and pelvis or repetitive stress. So today we're strengthening and stretching to fix that. And stay tuned until the end because I'll share a bonus tip that's often overlooked but can be a total game changer. First up, clamshells. They're a classic, but here's why they work. Weak gluteus medius muscles can overload your hip joint, leading to, you guessed it, bursitis. To do this, lie on your side, keep your feet together, and lift your top knee like a clamshell opening. Make sure to keep your hips forward during this motion because your hips will tend to want to rock back, but keep your hips forward to better isolate the gluteus medius. Do 10 to 15 reps per side. To advance, once clamshells become too easy, try adding a resistance band or increasing the number of reps to 20 to 25 per side. You can also hold the top position for 3 to 5 seconds for an extra burn. Fun fact, studies show that clamshells activate up to 79% of your gluteus medius. That's like waking up a sleepy muscle superhero. Now let's talk isometric hip abduction. Fancy words for pushing out against resistance without moving. Sit with your feet flat, place a band around your thighs and push your knees outward. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds and repeat 5 times. This is fantastic if you're in pain as it strengthens the muscles without irritating the bursa. Think of it as training your hips to hold their ground without overdoing it. To advance this exercise, transition from isometric holds to controlled outward and inward movements with the resistance band. Aim for 10 to 15 reps of slow, steady pulses for a greater challenge. Now, hip bursitis isn't just about weakness, it's about tightness too. Enter the hip flexor stretch. Kneel on one knee, tuck your pelvis under like you're trying to hide a tail, and lean forward gently. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. To advance your hip flexor stretch, add an arm reach overhead. As you lean into the stretch, reach the arm on the kneeling side upward and slightly across your body to deepen the stretch and target your hip flexor and lower back. Studies have shown tight hip flexors can tilt your pelvis forward, which throws off your biomechanics and increases stress on the bursa. Stretching them is like giving your hip a much needed vacation. Side lying leg lifts are your stabilizing best friend. Lie on your side, keep your top leg straight, and lift it toward the ceiling. Pro tip, point your toes slightly downward to engage your gluteus medius even more. And get this, research shows that strengthening the stabilizers around the hip can reduce bursitis symptoms by up to 50%. That's a win in my book. To advance, Let's take your sideline leg lifts to the next level by adding a hip extension. Start in the usual position, but before lifting your top leg, move it slightly backward, keeping it straight. Then lift the leg upward while maintaining that backward position. Lower it back down and repeat. This variation engages not only your gluteus medius, but also your gluteus maximus, giving you even more stability and strength. Try 10 to 15 reps per side, and as always, keep the movement controlled. Pro tip, focus on keeping your core engaged to avoid rolling your hips forward or backward. This ensures the right muscles are doing the work. All right, Thrive Tribe, let's spice things up with hip wall taps. Stand next to a wall with the leg closest to it planted firmly on the ground. The other foot stays off the floor with your knee bent. Now, dip your hips away from the wall and then gently tap the wall with your hip. Return to the starting position. This exercise is amazing for improving dynamic hip stability while strengthening your glutes and lateral hip muscles. Start with 8 to 10 controlled taps per side and increase as you get stronger. Pro tip, keep your movements slow and steady. This isn't a race. The more controlled you are, the more your stabilizers will fire up to support you. To advance, weighted progression. Hold a light dumbbell or kettlebell in the hand opposite the wall. The added weight will challenge your core and balance as you stabilize through your hip. You can also advance this exercise by standing on an unstable surface, like a foam pad or a folded yoga mat, while performing the exercise. This adds an extra layer of difficulty, making your stabilizers work overtime to keep you balanced. Now, as promised, Thrive Tribe, here's the bonus tip. Posture matters a lot. If you're sitting with your legs crossed or slouching, you're putting uneven pressure on the bursa. Sit tall, keep both feet flat, and avoid crossing your legs. Fun fact, maintaining good posture can reduce the strain on your hips by up to 30%. It's like giving your bursa a big, comfy pillow to rest on. And there you have it, my best exercises for hip bursitis. Remember, consistency is key, and pain-free hips are just a few reps away. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and share it with someone who might need a little hip TLC. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks to heal and thrive. See you next time, Thrive Tribe.